In Chicago, you know that all sports rock. The Bears, Hawks, Bulls, Cubs, and Sox. Pick your favorite, you can choose. As long as the Packers lose. For everything you need to know, it's Bill Swerski Sports Talk Chicago. Bill Swerski Sports Talk Chicago.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to another edition of Bill Swerski Sports Talk Chicago. This is your hosts, Alex and Sean. On this episode, we are going to be talking about the Bears' first preseason game. We're going to be talking this week in Cubs and White Sox and more. But first, I'd like to thank our sponsor, the Rockford Ice Hogs. If you're not familiar with the Rockford Ice Hogs, they're the AHL minor league affiliate of the Chicago Blackhawks. What does that mean for you? You could see the stars of tomorrow today at family-friendly, affordable prices. So make sure you head on over to icehogs.com, get yourself a hat, shirt, jersey, sign up for season tickets, and more. Tell them Swerski Sports sent you. Alex, my friend, how are you doing today?
I am doing just swell, thank you.
It was a little bit of a holiday today because we had the very first Bears preseason game of the year.
That we did in the nice sweltering heat. What was funny is I was thinking earlier this week about how coming up on the first preseason game, you remember how like under Matt Eberflus, like they didn't lose a preseason game, like they were the preseason masters.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, how funny would it be if they just completely crapped the bed with Ben Johnson looking like, quote, terrible in a preseason game, and then the fortunes change? It's so funny. Like, I think they lost maybe one preseason game under Eberflus those 3 years. And it goes to show how meaningless like the results are of a preseason game. The '08 Lions went 4-0 in the preseason. So I was just thinking leading up to this, I'm like, well, first of all, who's going to start? Who's not? Second of all, like, how are they going to look? And if things look bad and people are making jokes, and it's like, hey, you know what? If you don't look good in your first preseason game, then maybe that's a good omen because Eberflus looked great in all his preseason games. We saw how that played out, but we ended up with a tie. So,
Yeah, and honestly, I don't give a crap about the score.
no, it
Uh,
doesn't mean anything.
yeah, it means nothing. It was more about seeing some things that we needed to see. We needed to see some progress. We needed to see the offense work. What was the defense, with the young players? What are they going to do? Um, Trying to see some of these positions that are up for grabs, like left tackle and some of the backup spots. Those were the important things. Um, and honestly, though, I was disappointed that they didn't play Caleb at all. And
Yeah, me too.
I understand what Ben Johnson is saying, that he got 70 reps you know, at the joint practice, and he felt that that was really important. And he was like, I wish we could do that every day. And we're like, well, you could have got some more today. You chose not to. Um, and I'm not sure the real reason. Um, but I would have liked to have seen Caleb get a few live snaps. And
Heck, if he just played one drive,
yeah, yep. Um, is go out there, just get those, that series, and then take the helmet off, take the pads off, and be done for the rest of the day. Nobody would question that. But
hmm
that's not what happened. And um, you know, we got a lot of fuel from outside of the Chicago media, plus a little bit of Chicago media of just going at Caleb Williams like he wronged them personally. And it's not going to go away until he plays consistently well. And the fact that you're not putting him out there for people to see is frustrating.
yeah, it is. And one thing that I said too going into this was you're going to be facing, a Dolphins team. I mean, the opponent really doesn't matter that much, but you're facing a Dolphins team who you were just practicing against in the joint practices, and We saw that the Bears played, and this is going to be a topic of conversation as we go forward, but the Bears played really, really hard against the Dolphins. And, I think some emotions were running a little high from the Dolphins after that. And I just thought it would have been cool to see Caleb get a chance in a quote game setting against the team he just practiced against. And again, it's not as much the opponent itself, it's just, the fact that you had that joint practice a few days ago. Um, but am I mad? No. Am I dooming anything? No. But I am with you that I would have liked to see him get a few snaps.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna, fall apart about it. I'm gonna move on, but it was just an observation and a little bit of a disappointment.
Yeah. So I have a question for you early on here. Since we're on the topic of quarterbacks, Caleb Williams didn't play, but the other quarterbacks did. Tyson Bagent played, Case Keenum played, Austin Reed played. Obviously, Austin Reed is, not going to be a prime candidate, but I think today there was a number of people talking about potential QB2. Is Tyson Bagent going to be the guy, or is it Case Keenum? And I just want to know. And I know you can't base everything off a few quarters of the first preseason game of the year, but do you have any thoughts on where you are with that? Because I have a few.
I mean, it's hard for me to fully judge because I haven't been to practices. Uh, so I can't say what's happening there. I can tell you what I watched today and what I saw at Family Fest, which I was at.
Me too.
And so and I could tell you my thoughts in general. Um, I think Case Keenum played better than Tyson Bagent today.
I
Uh,
agree.
and but to be fair, it was against, more the more depth than closer to the starters. Um, so you have to factor that in. But he's also playing with less talent around him. But you could tell the savvy veteranness of it, of Case Keenum. So I would say, based off of the limited things I've seen, Case Keenum would be the guy. But again, this is a big but. I mean, like I like big butts. I cannot lie. Uh,
Eh.
I would, regardless of who wins the competition, would have uh Bajent be my backup so he gets the reps that he needs much more than Case Keenum. But if something, God forbid, were to happen to Caleb, I would start Case Keenum.
Well, that's the thing, and I think that's where a lot of people are coming from is we don't want QB2 to really matter that much, if at all, this season. I mean, that's what we say every season. We don't want there to be a situation where we have to bring in QB2 other than, hey, it's a blowout and we don't want our guy to get hurt. If Caleb was out a game or two, right now, I don't think it's unfair to say that Case Keenum would be the preferred guy. That's a seasoned veteran who's been around for over a decade. That's a guy who has started and won playoff games in the National Football League. This isn't a disrespect to Tyson Bagent. The fact that he's done what he's done coming out of D2 Shepherd is pretty remarkable. But Case Keenum, it's like that's a guy you trust. Again, not to win you a game on his own, but like, you can trust him to play the role of a game managing quarterback. And I think Tyson Bagent, he has the smarts. He has the smarts and the ability to know what's going on. You can tailor a game plan to him. It's just, if you're going to be looking to make a deep throw, I'm not putting it in the hands necessarily of Tyson Bagent. I just don't think he has the physical arm talent to be a starting NFL quarterback. A backup, sure, but not a starter. I mean, Case Keenum, he's not a star, he's not a stud, but again, he's started plenty of games in the NFL. He has, I think, 70 some touchdown passes in the NFL in his career. It's just kind of more of a resume type thing for me, not to discredit Bajan, but look at today. The touchdown pass to Alexander was great. Some of those other passes were not so great. And even during Family Fest, what was the one play where He was backed up in the end zone. He was under pressure. He did a great job escaping pressure, and he had somebody absolute wide open, and he just airmailed it. And, today we saw a couple of errant passes. We saw the one pass that got broken up where he didn't lead his guy. So you saw a mixed bag today. Again, it's not the be all end all what happened today. Those are just some of the most recent observations.
Yeah, and it's I think raw talent at this point is Bajent probably is better, bigger arm, more athletic, better shape. Um, but it's that experience is really hard, especially learning a new offense. I really do think Bajent is a smart guy, and I would not be shocked if he went into coaching after his career is done. Um, but it's I if I had if I had to trust somebody for multi games, it's probably Case Keenum.
Right. No, I agree. I
And
agree.
Case Keenum's a guy. I mean, man, it's tough because I want to say, you also have to look at it as, do you want to carry three quarterbacks on your roster? If you put Case Keenum on your practice squad, is is that going to be a situation where somebody snags him from you? Or do you be really diligent and then, elevate him if you see some team has a big injury? Um, I don't know the answer. It's a little bit of, prepping. It's a little bit of preparation because who's going to get more snaps is the backup snaps. Who's who do you trust if you need somebody for multiple games, and how do you roster manage? Those are all factors that you have to put into this.
Well, and again, we don't know what's going on in the quarterback room at Hallis Hall because for all we know, Case Keenum could be providing Caleb with some really insightful information and knowledge. And maybe that is part of how he grows is talking to a guy like Case Keenum. I really don't know, but if that is the case, then wouldn't you want him to be on a roster and want him to be around?
I mean, he's around if he's on the practice squad. It's not like they sit in a special room. Like they're in the meetings and everything. So nothing would change from that perspective. It's about, whether he's suited up on Sundays. And he very well, if he's on the number three on the roster, he's not a game day active guy either. But when you're on the practice squad, you're still in the same meetings and everything. So
That's
that wouldn't
fair. Yeah,
change.
that's fair. Right.
That wouldn't change. So it would be more of, I guess, a respect thing. Um, as a veteran, I just don't know the right answer, and it's hard for me to judge too because I'm not in those meetings. I haven't seen all those practices, both the open practices that and the closed ones that nobody's privy to.
Right. Right. No, that's a good point. You're right. And, one thing I can also think of is Case Keenum is obviously older. And I'm sure he looks, from what we've seen in good football shape. But, the nice thing with Tyson Bagent is he's a lot younger. Again, this shouldn't be the determining factor of anything, but if you're looking at somebody who could rely on being healthy, Tyson Bagent probably gives you an edge. With that said, if they're not playing much, it's not going to make much of a difference. But throughout camp, it's just something to monitor. I mean, it can happen to anybody, truly. Anybody could get injured, but, you know, Case Keenum being older, Tyson Bagent being younger and potentially healthier. I'm just curious to see how it all plays out through the rest of camp.
I'm going to throw a potential wrinkle in, and this would be a good problem to have, but a potential wrinkle. What if Austin Reed just looks awesome, and you're like, man, we love this guy? Uh, do you go, man, Case Keenum? Do we bother paying him, a couple $1 million in salary when we got two undrafted rookie backups that we like?
Yeah, I don't see Austin Reed doing that, but
You never know.
I don't
Never,
know.
you never know. I mean, I would be
Some
shocked, but
some of those last throws on that drive. Not trying to pick on the guy, but
that, I thought he was having a decent game until that end. And some of
you
it
are
was
right. To be fair, you are right.
some of
Yes.
it was man, who was that receiver that just went four straight times to him and not a single completion.
Yeah. Well, the
Three
one should have
drops in
been
a
caught.
well, I think at least two of them should have been caught. And then, it was just my wife walked in and she goes, I feel so bad for that guy. And then the next play, she goes, oh my God, that's the same guy. I feel so bad for him.
Yeah, no, I mean, definitely that one pass over the middle that would have put them well in the field goal range. That absolutely should have been caught. But yeah, no, you're right. The last throw was bad, but oh well, it didn't really mean anything. But I mean, I guess you can never fully rule that out. I think Austin Reed would have to do a hell of a lot to move over Keenum and Bajent.
I don't think he would go to two, but what if they felt really comfortable with him and they were like, man, we have four quarterbacks we like.
I mean, good problem to have, right?
I think it's more wishful thinking.
Yes, it is. It- I'm literally that meme of the guy smiling and putting the hand on your shoulder.
Uh, yeah, I mean, so quarterback play, it started bad. Bajan's first quarter just looked bad. And you're like, oof. And I made a tweet like, you know, I just I just want I feel like this is the same old, but I'm hoping that I get to eat crow and somebody remembers this tweet. And uh because it just started looking bad. And then
Hmm.
it heated up a little bit. And I get that everything, they're not showing anything. Everything is super vanilla, and you didn't have a lot of your starters at all. Like Roma Dunze didn't play, DJ Moore didn't play. Did any of the
DeAndre
offense?
Swift didn't play, Komet didn't play, Joe Tooney didn't play,
Um,
Dahlman didn't play, right?
I don't think he did.
No.
Did Braxton Jones play?
Yeah, and he got blown up.
Okay.
And then they
Um,
put Ozzy. We saw some reps with Ozzy Trapillo in there.
Yeah, and I do like to see the Canadian Eagle be in there for reps. I told you last year, around this time, I was like, you know what? He's a guy that's not gonna have no impact that first year, but he's a big, stout kid, and I think really highly of him after watching him play. And I still feel that way, and I think he's going to wind up being the primary backup to one of those tackle positions.
Well, he's been getting a lot of reps in camp. We saw it at Family Fest. We saw it today. I know today he had a penalty, but that
And
still needs to be cleaned up a little bit.
yeah, we saw pre-snap penalties. Um, and at least it wasn't false starts. It was,
No.
illegal formations where in those you've got a whole new offense that you're working through. Okay. Um, but it's better than false starts, but it still needs to be cleaned up.
Well, I mean, now's the time to do that. Since you're learning new systems, since you're trying to get acclimated, now's the chance to do that. And you are right. False starts, that's peewee stuff. That's something that really shouldn't matter on the scheme. But with formations, yeah, sure. I think there's more of an argument to be had there. And then, obviously with any game, there's going to be some controversial calls, which there might have been one or two in this game. Not that it really matters, but still.
Oh, the pass interference missed call at the end of the game. That was brutal.
Yeah, and
I
I
mean,
thought the one in the end zone by the Bears was a little ticky-tacky, but
like the one, it was a completely underthrown ball, but the defensive back didn't turn his head around and ran into the receiver. The receiver needed to play that up more. Like throw himself into it and fall to the ground, throw his arms up. You've got to sell that. because that's a pass interference, and I don't like that, but that's the rule, and you've got to throw that penalty, and that changes that play or that the outcome of this game most likely.
Right.
Again, it doesn't matter, but still, um, that's the rule, and you've got to call it. Um, the two things I did like about officiating were if you look at the Chiefs the last 2 years, they have their offense or their left tackle, and he lines up so far off the line, and they let him do that to save the speed or to give a step on the speed rushers, and they don't call it. And it's been a point of emphasis, and they called it today, which is good. Call that. You've got to play by the rules. And the other one is falling on the quarterback with your body weight. Like, that's they're trying to make it safer for the quarterback so we get less quarterback injuries. Good. Make sure you call that. Call that all the time. Don't call it on for, if it happens to Joe Burrow or Patrick Mahomes, but not to, somebody that's not as important, quote important. Call it across the board and call it uniformly. Those are the two things I really did like. I think enforcing those and having, you know, this is preseason for the officiating too.
Yeah, you're right. And we go through that every year, obviously, with the preseason games. You know what I thought was also interesting today, too, was I don't know where you are on the special teams, but,
Special
and
teams look
maybe,
bad today.
yeah, I don't know where you are with this, but how many yards did they give up on the returns? Like a
A,
lot.
a lot. It was bad. And it
They
wasn't
got
just
to
like,
midfield
oh,
almost every time.
and it wasn't like one or two and you're like, okay, we'll clean this up. It was consistent.
Yeah. It was almost every one. Even some of like the nice Tory Taylor punts, they were still able to bring back. And whether it was a kickoff or a punt, I don't have the total yards in front of me, but literally every single time we kicked it to them, they brought it to like at least midfield, it seemed like.
And we didn't have a good return game.
No, we didn't. We could barely get past the 20.
Yeah, it was bad on both sides. And I don't hate on Richard Hightower. I wasn't mad that they retained him from last year, but uh I I didn't like what happened today.
No, yeah. I mean, the only good thing was Cairo Santos drilling that 57-yarder. That was nice.
Um, at the end of the game, I would have liked to have seen them. I mean, I get it would have been like what, 66, 67 yarder or something
Fuck
ridiculous.
it. Who cares?
Like it was, you at the end of the game, why wouldn't you just go for it? Kick it. You obviously not Santos, but let Kim kick it. The guy that's competing. Let him have it. Boom it. I mean, somebody just kicked yesterday a 70-yard field goal. So it's not out of the realm of possibility. Guys have bigger legs now. Let him kick it. What's the worst that happens? He misses it? Okay.
So then, yeah, then you end in a tie with a preseason
Yeah,
matchup.
you're still not in. Then there's like 10 seconds left and they're not in field goal range. And that's the same thing's going to happen. They're going to do a trick play.
And even if they did, who cares?
Yeah, who
Doesn't
cares?
mean
Just
anything.
like let that guy kick. What's the worst that happens? Oh my God, he made a 60 something yard field goal. Cool. Then it makes the competition more fun.
And listen, I don't expect Cairo Santos to make that. His leg is
Oh,
accurate, but it's not the strongest. But hey,
you've got that backup, Kim. Let him go for it. Put him in there. Let him kick it. He's like 22 years old.
you
Let
know what's
him.
funny? You know what's funny about Kim is watching him from behind at Family Fest. You could definitely tell he's got the stronger leg. He's not as accurate, but you could definitely see he's got the stronger leg.
Yeah, let him kick it. Let him fire it away.
Give him the boot, the big iron boot.
Ha.
But boy, that 70-yarder yesterday, like not only was that like a 70-yarder, but it cleared with a little room to spare.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not trusting anybody to do that in the regular season, but it's nice to in your back pocket if you're like, it's either a Hail Mary or a 70-yard field goal. And if the conditions are fine, like, all right, he's done it. He can do it. You're way more like if a guy has kicked that field goal, your chances of making that are probably more likely than a Hail Mary.
Well, and that's the funny thing that I wanted to kind of bring up is with the way kickers are now, if you're down by one or two or even three, and at the very least you want to tie the game, and it's either throw a Hail Mary or kick like a 63-yard field goal. Nowadays, I feel like the 60-yard three field goal is monumentally higher than a Hail Mary in terms of chances of it being converted.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And, but if you get a guy that can kick a 70-yard field goal, all you need to do is get it to midfield and you're in
Yeah,
field goal range.
yeah,
That's wild.
yeah.
And not to tangent us, but I got the kick return numbers. So Bears averaged 9 yards per punt return,
The-
and that was on two punts with a long of 9. So it's two 9-yard returns.
Heh.
Uh, Kickoff returns, they had one of 21 and two of them at 22. So they averaged, like just shy of 22 yards a return. Other hand, the Dolphins, they averaged, uh, let's see, 17 and a half yards a punt return. They had a 16 and a 19. And then kickoffs, they averaged like almost 40 yards a kick return. They had a 38, a 37, and a 41.
Good God. Well over 100 yards worth of returns.
Yes. Like that's bad.
Yikes.
Let's see what else. Um, Kyle Monungai, I there were things I liked, but there was things I did not like about his game. I saw some powerful runs. I saw him pick up, get back to the line of scrimmage or pick up positive yards where there was nothing there. Didn't go backwards. But I saw some brutal blitz pickups, which is just, rookie running back. You sort of expect that. You got to work through that. But I don't see any chance of him winning the primary back spot because if he can't pick up, pass rushers.
Yeah, and I'm curious to see how that develops because like you said, he picked up some really nice runs today. I kind of like the way he's able to keep going after getting hit on some of those. He's able to kind of bully his way up he's not like, an insane like Saquon Barkley type, but you see some of the way he's able to stay balanced and keep going, which is nice. But, you know, looking at this whole running back situation is Monungai two or three? I think that's the question I'm going to be asking.
From what I've heard, people feel that Monungai might be inching towards 2.
And I believe it.
I don't not believe that. I did not like Hankins at all. I thought that was not good of him. Wheeler, um, he's a guy that's going to have to, you're going to have to, I think he's going to be a spot back, is utilize him. He's got a lot of wheels. And I think you're going to have to be picky and choosy where you use him. But uh, I I have higher hopes than him. Hankins, nothing.
No.
Monungai, he might end up being your number 2 behind DeAndre Swift.
Well, I mean, look at how many carries he's gotten. He got plenty of carries today. And remember, we were talking last week how many carries he got during Family Fest?
Yeah.
So, clearly, you know, they're trying to make him into something. I mean, they drafted him in the seventh round, and sure, it was probably nowhere near their top choice of running back considering how many there were. But I think they saw enough in him to like him, and I think they're trying to make that work, and maybe it does. I mean, we're seeing some promise with him, just from a pure run perspective. But again, you're going to be going into a season where DeAndre Swift is your number one, and I think DeAndre Swift is more of a complimentary number two type guy. And, you know, what is Roshan Johnson? I think he's a situational back. There are people that are higher on him, but I'm not so sure. I'm
You
not saying
know,
being a situational back is bad, but you're still just kind of missing a guy that can really just wreak havoc on his own.
I feel like all of the Bears running backs are situational, but they have different situations. So you feel like if everybody's healthy, you've got all of the situations covered, but you don't have that one back that is your like primary back. And if they're going to use DeAndre Swift as their primary back, but I I don't love him as a between the tackles runner. Um
No,
and
unless there's a massive hole.
yeah, and I think they feel that there might be with this improved interior offensive line. Um, Roshan, I just think lacks the wheels and isn't a well-rounded back. Manungai is can't pass block at this point, and I don't think he's got wheels either. Ian Wheeler's got wheels, but I don't. He just coming off a serious injury, and I don't know how much I trust him running between the tackles either. Um, I think you're going to see primary running back be something they address in the draft. They
Hmm.
tried to do it this year, but they got
Didn't work
snaked.
out.
Yeah, it's one of those things is, if you ever do a mock draft where you don't have control of things and guys will get snaked out from under you all the time and you're just like it's how you adapt to it. And honestly, I was a little disappointed with this draft, but as we're starting to see this the way it's playing out, maybe I'm less disappointed because I am starting to like the second round picks. Luther Burden is doesn't like uh you had Ben Johnson say that he's still behind where he's supposed to be at this point because he just hasn't had a lot of reps. But between the practice I have seen and this game, I think he's going to be a problem for other teams.
Yeah, no, and we got to look at him today. I think that there were people who watched him play in college and said, okay, this is a guy that could fit a Ben Johnson offense, that yards after the catch type guy. I think that there is a lot of potential there. And obviously, I know you mentioned second round, but we also saw Colson Loveland today, and we've seen a lot of good things from him in camp, and we saw completion today. So, looking at this draft is you might have gotten some nice pieces for your future offense. Um, Again, I do wish, like you said, we could have gotten one of those backs, but unfortunately, it didn't fall that way.
Every round, I mean, they weren't, I
Every
mean,
round, yes.
like literally, first round, um, they were hoping that the kid from, uh, Boise State fell to them. He didn't. Uh, Second round, twice they were hoping different running backs fell. They just every round it was somebody, and you're like, man, that is some poison. And part of it is if if everybody thinks you're going to go for a certain position and they're like, hey, we're wanting to get this certain player, they'll leapfrog you and to get to that point. And that happened a little bit with the Bears. Um, and that happens and you got to be ready for that. But uh you the I mean the Bears I think It didn't seem like at the time, but I feel like maybe they did have a plan for if and when that happened, even though I don't think they were anticipating that happening.
Yeah, and it's not like in later rounds you're going to be trading up to get a running back, and you kind of waited for the board to fall in your favor, and it just kind of never did.
Yeah. I mean, let's see. In the first, you were praying Ashton Genty fell to you, and he went 4 picks in front of you.
Which
Um,
what just he wasn't going to fall to you.
he wasn't going to fall to you. Um, let's see. Second round, you were hoping Quinshawn Judkins or Travion Henderson fell to you. They went in the second round, fourth and sixth, and you had seventh.
I think Travion Henderson was the guy.
I think so too. I mean, maybe, and I think they really wanted him, and he went 1 pick in front of them.
Ryan
Um,
Poles was banging his head and yelling like a madman.
oh, I'm, uh, it's just shitty how that worked out. Um, let's see. I'm looking at the third. Where did the Bears have a third rounder? I don't think they did. No, they didn't have a third rounder. So it didn't happen in the third, but it happened twice in the second. Fourth round, um, let's see. Uh, Dylan Sampson, Woody Marks, Cam Scatabo, Bayshal Tootin all went before the Bears picked.
I know Cam Scadabo is the one that just devastated you.
Honestly, that name, that guy he would be a fan favorite, but Bayshal Tootin was the guy I think would have fit into this offense so well. But it just didn't happen. You know, it just, it sucked. And uh, it happened in the fifth round too. And did it happen in the sixth round where, yeah, the 2 picks in front of them, running back. So they just kept getting snaked until the seventh. And then everybody ran out of teams looking for running backs. So, you got, and even then it's still a little bit because I liked Brashard Smith out of SMU and he went 5 picks in front of them. And then they went with Kyle Monungai, who I don't dislike. I mean, he played for stupid Rutgers, but you
Heh.
know, he was 1,000-yard rusher in the Big Ten with some of the best
And he didn't
defenses in the
fumble
country.
once
Yeah.
in the Big Ten.
So, but it just didn't work out. But I did like the draft class that they did have. It's turning out Trapillo might be your starting left tackle.
Looking more and more like that.
Honestly, I think that's the best case scenario is that you don't have to pay Braxton Jones. I don't dislike Braxton Jones. It just,
Is the juice worth the squeeze?
is he worth what you're gonna have to pay him? It's it's like when you have uh a mid quarterback. All right, like with the Vikings for how many years? Kirk Cousins, they had to pay him like $40 million. Is he $40 million good? No, but you don't have anybody better. So you've got to pay the market rate for him. And he held you to the fire, fully guaranteed contracts. And that's sort of what you have with Braxton Jones. He's a league average left tackle, and it's hard to take a step up from that. And you've got to invest in that. To get an improvement, you have to invest either with draft capital or with financial or both if you trade and sign and trade kind of situation. And they invested a second round pick in Ozzie Trapillo, and he seems like he's going to be pretty good. And also the Canadian Eagle, I think is a guy that you're going to be happy to have as a backup guy. So Braxton Jones, I think he's even if he starts this year, this will be the last year of Braxton Jones. They're not going to pay him.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I agree.
And if they let him play, then honestly, it might just be a favor for him because, showcase him to other teams. But I don't think he's on this Bears roster after this year.
I don't either.
And
Unless he
And
You,
honestly, don't even be surprised if they feel really good about Trapillo and they feel good um about the Canadian Eagle and they feel good about Karan Amagaji. They might just trade him. Why
who,
wouldn't you?
Braxton Jones?
Yeah.
Yeah,
If you
maybe.
feel you've got other tackles, um, you know, is you explore that. Especially if you have teams that lose a tackle and they can get a starting caliber left tackle, like people will pay for that.
Yeah, I don't know what the timeline is for Kiran Amagaji. Isn't he hurt right now?
Yeah, I don't think it's serious though.
Okay. Because there are, I mean, if we're going to transition a little bit, there are a few injury concerns, obviously, right now. So, like even today, oh, who was it that left the game?
Trey Flowers.
Well, he came back.
Yeah.
Wasn't it Terrell Smith? Didn't he leave?
Oh, maybe I don't remember. I walked away for a little bit because I was trying to finish some stuff around the house. Um, uh,
Because, because Flowers, like I said, he came back and he wasn't out for very long, I don't think. I mean, luckily none of like the offensive guys got hurt or anything, but like obviously, Jalen Johnson being out and now Kyler Gordon with a hamstring issue,
let's see.
that's a little concerning.
uh, Amen Aban Bamiga left the injury or the game with a shoulder injury, was questionable to return. Travis Homer was questionable to return with a calf injury. Major Burns was ruled out with an injuring his knee. Terrell Smith was ruled doubtful after with a groin injury.
Yeah.
Luke Newman is in concussion protocol. And um uh I think they're more positive about Jalen Johnson being ready for week one. Um and I'm starting to get concerned of so let's see, Karan Amagaji, Bill Murray, Doug Kramer, Kyler Gordon, Shamar Turner, and Roshan Johnson were all held out of the game with various injuries. The one that's starting to concern me is Za Frazier has still been away with a dealing with a personal issue. I have
Hmm.
no idea what that personal issue is, but he's been gone all of camp.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on there.
Um, yeah, like we thought that he might be, um, a possibility to crack this roster as an undrafted rookie, but man, um, I don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
Let's see. Oh, interesting. You know, one of those things that might have to deal with is normally when you see two guys that share a number in training camp, it happens every year, especially with the Bears because they have so many retired numbers. Um, it's it's always at least one of those guys is a guy that's not going to make the roster, so it doesn't matter. This year, there's a good chance that that's not the case. Um, or at least a possibility is Nashawn Wright, who they brought in and is competing for the starting uh, cornerback spot, is number 25, and Kyle Monungai is also number 25. I feel very confident that Kyle Monungai is going to make this roster, and I'm feeling pretty confident that Nashawn Wright, who you brought in as a free agent and is looking really good, is also going to make this roster. Is who is going to switch numbers because you're not going to have two guys with the same number on the active roster.
Maybe they should rock, paper, scissors.
They just split the difference. One gets 24 and a half and the other one gets 25 and a half.
There you go. 25.5.
You will get a half number. Um, So I thought that was interesting because like you never have that issue because it's always like, um, let me find another one. All right, you're Luke Elkin and Carl Jones Jr. Um, One is a guy trying to win the long snapping job, but he's not going to do it. The other one is an undrafted free agent, a linebacker. So like, all right, not worried about that one. Um, let's find another one. I know there's a few of them here. Maybe I have to go further down. You know, things like that. All right, Zob Frazier and all right, with another one is Zob Frazier and Jade Walker. Um, I don't know. This whole Zob Frazier thing might be him off, but Jade Walker made some plays. Um, 23 Roshan Johnson, 23 Jeremiah Walker. I don't think Jeremiah Walker is going to make this roster. Not a big concern. But you've got a few guys, and but I think Nashawn Wright and Kyle Anunga are both going to make this roster. Somebody's going to have to get a new number from training camp to regular season.
Don't have a lot to choose from because we retired so many damn numbers.
That's true. We did retire a lot of numbers.
You can't wear that. It's Bronco Nagurski's.
You can't wear that because Ding Dong McGillicuddy played for that in the '06 team, and he was the first guy to play with a helmet.
It was made of cowhide.
It was made of hardened cow manure. He made it himself.
He wanted to protect himself.
He said, I've got to pay for cigarettes for my 6-year-old. I got to keep working.
Yeah, well, it's like I say, you need to go back and maybe reevaluate some of the retired numbers.
Um, Before we go any further about the game, the players, I thought, did you see the George McCaskey in the booth?
He said hell, right? Didn't he say
I
that?
I thought it was funny that he called that patch, that Virginia McCaskey patch, a subtle nod. That patch is huge. Oh, that patch is like bigger than their names. Like it is huge.
It's like the guy who says he's humble but wears a massive like award ribbon on his shirt.
It's this giant, and then we're also going to honor, uh, Mongo McMichael, and then it's just got this little tiny sticker with his number on there. Like what? That's hidden on the back of the helmet, underneath the stripe. We're gonna put it underneath the stripe, and then Virginia, we're gonna give this subtle nod to her with this little tiny patch. That patch takes up the whole front of the jersey. No, there's plenty of room for other things. It's so subtle, subtle. Mom would hate it. Subtle.
Mother?
She would call it "Give me hell." Why is he such a dingaling?
Oh, George. You know what? I like to think that after that interview, he realized he said a bad word, and then he goes into his office. He grabs Kevin Warren. He's like, "Kevin, I need you to get the soap." And it's just like this giant ass dispenser, and he puts it in his mouth, and Kevin's pumping the soap in his mouth.
Oh, yeah. They load the t-shirt cannon with like soapy sponges and shoot it in his face. He's like, if I ever say the HE double hockey stick words again, you need to use this paddle on my behind. This is my naughty George paddle.
The thing's like beat up, and like the holes are just like randomly drilled.
It just says it's got burn marks on there that say naughty naughty.
It's like, now that Mother's gone, I need Kevin Warren to do it for me. That's why I hired him.
It's like, I was gonna have Olin Kreutz do it for $15 an hour.
He didn't like that.
I could just see Olin would take that job for $15 an hour.
Well, yeah, I was gonna say. Now I think about it, I'm like, he'd probably do it for free.
They interview him on the radio and they're like, oh, I heard they offered you $15. And he's like, well, they said that I could have this job for $15 an hour. And I was like, hell, I would have paid 20 for it. And then I realized they were going to pay me. Uh, just see him wind up with a Happy Gilmore step to paddle his ass.
They do it on the field.
It's like, ow, not now. After I say a naughty word.
Not in the middle of it with all these people.
Uh, all right, let's see who else. I thought Jade Walker played well. I liked Luther Burden. Um,
Noah Sewell.
uh, yeah, Noah Sewell and Ruben Hippolyte both played pretty well. I think
Hmm.
Sewell played exceptionally well.
Yeah, especially
Um,
on those first few drives.
I mean, if both of those guys step up, you might see a full-fledged, change in your linebacking core for next season.
Because what?
Uh,
Noah Sewell's trying to be LB3, right? I mean,
I mean, they're both going for that you know uh that third linebacking spot that doesn't even get a lot of snaps.
right.
But I mean, if you lose one of your starting linebackers, um, you know, they want all those guys to be interchangeable so they can play them best spot they can. So, um, they want everybody to be interchangeable in there. So you're going to see Sewell play all over. And if, God forbid, one of your starters goes out and he comes in, um, you feel very confident in him. Same thing with Ruben Hippolyte. You saw that speed. He played really tough. Um, I made fun of that. I think everybody made fun of that pick, but he's he's playing pretty well.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Um, I I think Colston Loveland didn't play a lot, but he has been every practice seems like he's becoming more and more integral to this offense. And you're hearing about the rapport he's building with Caleb Williams. Um, yeah, I'm getting excited about that. Uh, the wide receiver Alexander, I thought played pretty well. Um, and Austin Booker had an exceptional game.
Yeah, he was wrecking havoc.
Like that guy, you know, we knew when they drafted him that he was kind of almost a red shirt guy. Is they played him, I think, every game, but he was not a final product. And it's looking like he's stepping into his body now. And he downplayed it a little bit. He's like, yeah, I put on a little bit of weight. I ate 8 pounds of functional weight, so 8 pounds of muscle. Um, but he said the game didn't slow down, but I think he's learning how to play in the NFL. And I think he's gotten stronger and a little bit bigger. And this defense is better built for him. Um, I'm really excited to see him play in the regular season when he can go in situationally. Because the way that they're playing this defense is you're going to see, it's possible that you have 4 edge rushers line up in passing downs where you kick in Sweat and you know uh the free agent that they got from the Colts. You kick both of those guys into the defensive tackle spot, and then Booker and somebody else on the outside. So you have 4 edge rushers rushing the passer, and that's there's going to be times where you just unleash holy hell on that quarterback, and I'm here for it, especially when they play Pittsburgh. I want
Yep.
I want 22 sacks in that game.
I think we all do.
Oh, I want Aaron Rodgers to feel pain. I don't want him to get injured because I want him to go through that whole game of just getting the hell beat out of him.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be his last time at Soldier Field.
Yeah. Yep. Uh, let's see. What else about this game? Um, I thought the run defense in the first half was very good. And then you started to see a little porous towards the end of the game when you had guys that aren't going to make the team in there, which is what it is. Um, tackling needs to get worked on a little bit. Um, you saw some short passes be completed easily with Tua in there, which was a little frustrating. But then you look at it and you're like, all right, well, they're not really blitzing. They're not sending, a lot of their, um, it's just very vanilla defenses. Like, okay, but still, I would like to see a little bit more pressure on both the receiver and the quarterback.
Yeah,
Um,
I agree.
and the tackling needs to get better. And I get when camp starts, tackling is one of the things that you have trouble with, because guys haven't tackled in months. But it's not like you go and work out in the off season tackling. Uh, but that needs to get cleaned up. Um, and honestly, I hope that next game that we see starters.
Yeah, you have to, right? I mean, I'd like to see Caleb Williams at least play a quarter next week.
Oh, I mean, I would hope so. Um, because you've only got two more preseason games. So, um, you would think that he would play
Yep.
because um, that first game of the season's coming up pretty quick. We're like a month
Hmm.
away.
Yeah. It's somebody made a point of this on the radio when I was driving in. For the longest time, you had your 4 game preseason formula. It's like, all right, preseason game one, starting quarterback plays the first series. Game two, play a quarter. Game three, first half. Game four, off. You don't really have that anymore.
Yeah, you change the math on it and see how it goes. But you know, I think players need the the snaps. The offensive line needs those snaps to gel, especially when it's a brand new offensive line. Your young quarterback that's learning a new system needs to have reps, especially when he's gone from a predominantly shotgun quarterback his whole life to a primarily under center quarterback, changing footwork, brand new scheme. They want him to get the ball out faster and process things faster. Is you need snaps to do that. And I know that the number of snaps, there's only so many to go around, but Jaden Daniels, they used that virtual reality headset to get him all kinds of reps without any risk of injury and any real hits. And why aren't the Bears utilizing that? Jaden Daniels talked about how big of a help that was. Why don't the Bears implement something like that?
I wish they would.
That would be nice. That would be nice to see how that goes.
It's
Um,
kind of interesting. I mean, it might not be a full-on game, but you're not getting hit, but you're going through the progressions, you're reading defenses. Come on, Bears. Catch up to the 21st century.
yeah. Um, all right. Is there anything else Bears you want to talk?
So it sounds like based on what we heard the other day, once that bill gets passed in October, Sounds like Arlington Heights is pretty much going to happen, right?
That's what it seems like. And I think I've heard Kevin Warren say that they plan to break ground in 2025. So I would imagine before the first snowfall hits, you're going to have shovels in the ground.
I would think so.
Um, and so I think that is pretty much a done deal. I don't know the extent of it, if it's going to be phases or what, but the stadium itself, they're going to break ground if um this year. We'll see how that goes and what the timetable is, but that sounds like it's a done deal there.
Yeah, and I think it's been a done deal a while. They're just trying to get this all squared away. It's the last of the logistics and the funding, and because didn't they just there was just a share or something with the Bears. I believe McCaskey and Pat Ryan approved of something that brought them in some cash. So it's kind of all just coming together. It's a matter of that bill. And, that came together. They made the announcement and just like they have it all on standby. They just need to get this thing passed.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what the stadium is going to look like, final render.
Right, that's what I'm waiting for. I want to see what this is. Is it going to be similar to the rendering they made for the one they had in Chicago? It
I don't
might be a
know.
little different because they did design part of it to look out at the skyline. You're not going to have that. So I assume that they're going to stick with a domed stadium. I just wonder what the capacity is going to be. I wonder what the outer and inner design is going to be. Are you going to have glass paneling like you have up in Minnesota? Because, like at US Bank Stadium, like the end zone areas, it's towards the top. It's kind of that glass wall slash ceiling type. I wonder if you're going to get something like that or if you're going to get something more like Ford Field. We'll see.
Yeah. And uh, I'm curious to see what that capacity is going to look like, because right now you are what, 68,000? Um,
Roughly.
yeah, no, 61.5.
That low. Jeez.
61.5. And tops is 82.5 for the Giants and Jets stadium. I don't think you're going to get that big.
I
Um,
see around 70 maybe.
I think you got to go bigger than that. Let's see. It's Kansas City. So it goes right now: Giants, Jets, 82.5, Green Bay, 81.4, Dallas, 80 even, Chiefs, 76.4 for the current stadium. Um, Broncos, 76.1, Panthers, 74.8, Saints, 73.2, Houston, 72.2, Buffalo, 71.6, Baltimore 71, Falcons 71, Rams 70.2, Eagles 69.5. I think you have to be bigger than the Eagles. So that's 70 is the low mark. I'm thinking you probably go 75. It puts you one,
Seems
two, three,
reasonable.
four, five. You'll be the sixth biggest. I think that's fair, like a 75. Um, but I'm curious what the stadium's going to look like and the timing of it, and um, and what the stadium bill is going to look like, and if it goes in as they expect. Um, and I see the rough outline of what um the whole plot of land is going to look like, and it looks nice, and you got big parking lots, and um that mixed use area. It's going to be nice. um it would be nicer. It looks like they have the the metro station at the opposite end of it from the actual stadium, which again, people are going to complain about having to walk all the way to the stadium, but People are going to complain no matter what. Um, yeah,
They could have George piloting a shuttle between
that would be awesome.
the Georgie Porgy, the Georgie Porgy shuttle.
Uh, I just hope it looks cool and it functions cool. Uh, Robert Reich is saying that the Bears' new stadium plan, the taxpayers will be on the hook for up to half of the $4.75 billion project. Taxpayers are still paying for the renovations to the 2002 stadium.
Oh God.
Uh, they better get a lot of tax money from this. And this stadium better be awesome.
I was gonna say it better be. It really better be. We ran out of money, so it's all folding chairs.
Everybody's got to bring their own folding chair too. George will be at the door approving chairs.
It's also BYOB. Although some people would probably like that.
No, you have to buy a red Solo cup, and they have it as kegs. Everybody pays $10 for a cup. My son is not old enough to drink. $10 a cup. He gets juice.
It's Minute Maid juice boxes.
They put an X on his hand so they know he's under 21.
X for juice, 0 for drink.
Like, uh-oh. Like, the newest McCaskey switched him up. He's been giving the kids beer and the adults juice.
Oh, we thought they were wine boxes.
Uh, did you see that there is a replacement for Virginia on the board?
I did, yes.
It's another McCaskey.
Yeah, I know. And they said the line that they're going to own until the second coming, and it makes me want to pour out some bleach and pour it into a wine glass and drink it.
Yeah, her grandson, Edward L. McCaskey, the son of Patrick McCaskey, who is currently on the board.
Wasn't Patrick McCaskey the one that took us to the Super Bowl in '06? Wasn't he the one in charge? Or was that Patrick McCaskey? Or was that, oh, was it? Because Ed was the husband, right?
Yes. Um,
There's so many damn McCaskeys. I know Georgie Porgy's been in charge since 2011.
wasn't his brother before that?
Yeah, was it?
Um, it was Michael McCaskey.
Michael
Wait, no,
McCaskey.
wait, hold on. Yeah, I think it was Michael until his
No,
death.
I
What
think
year?
I think you're right.
Because he was his until he died.
Was it until he died? Well, I'm talking '06. I'm not talking '85.
Yeah, no, I know when he
Yeah.
died, Michael McCaskey.
Yeah.
And then George took over after him. When did Michael McCaskey die?
Because wasn't Michael McCaskey one of the oldest kids?
He was born in 1943.
So,
He
yeah.
died at 76 in 2020.
Right. So he'd been alive for a while after George took over. I just remember George taking over.
Yeah. Let's see what happened there. He was the Bears chairman from 99 to 2011.
Yeah. No, that was Michael McCaskey I was thinking of
Yeah.
in '06. I mean, Michael McCaskey, you said 99 to 2011, right?
Yeah. And he was the president from 83 to before that until 99.
So he was president when they won the Super Bowl, and he was chairman when they went to the Super Bowl and then to the NFC Championship again a few years later.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then George took over, and we haven't won a playoff game under him.
Right. Yeah, pretty much.
I just picture a clown car, and it's just, look at all those McCaskies.
Yeah, Michael McCaskey. What happened to him? Um, he was fired. Yeah, they fired him and replaced him
Mother,
with
you
a
mean Mother fired him?
mother. Um, yeah, here we go. This is a story from February. Oh, he was fired in 99. He went from president to chairman. He's out as president and chief executive officer of the Bears and was replaced by Ted Phillips, the president's vice president of operation. The club was set to announce at 4 p.m. press conference. McCaskey will become chairman of the board, replacing his father, Ed. The announcement was made by Virginia Hallis McCaskey, daughter of team founder George Hallis and wife of Ed. It's the first time in the 79-year history of that the team that a person outside the Hallis McCaskey family has assumed the title of president. Um, so it was Ted Phillips that actually Sweaty Teddy.
Sweaty Teddy.
Sweaty Teddy.
Uh,
I wonder if he's going to come back and be like, I think I should design the plans for the new stadium.
no,
I
I know
I
an even
saw
bigger spaceship idea.
I saw a movie where they had an even bigger spaceship. It was called Star Wars.
I thought you were gonna say Independence Day.
He just puts a Death Star on top of a stadium.
Well, they said domed, enclosed, right?
Oh my God. That would be simultaneously the best and worst thing ever.
Oh, I know.
Just wow, we decided that a traditional spaceship was not good for a stadium. So we went with something much more popular. Star Wars. We put a Death Star on there. We put the Millennium Falcon on top. We
Uh,
tried a TIE fighter, but it didn't keep the snow and the rain out.
yeah, that would not be very efficient for a stadium.
Uh, we tried to put the Slave One on top, but Mother said we couldn't use the word slave.
Uh, it's funny. When I was at Family Fest the other day, my buddy and we got there pretty early, so we're walking around the concourse, right? And I've walked around that concourse a number of times. It's not like it's anything new. But I'm just walking around and I think about the scale of Soldier Field in the modern NFL. And every time I walk around that concourse, I just think to myself, if this was 1995, then yeah, I think that this is a really good size and shape and design overall for a stadium. But, now I walk around, I'm like, listen, I've been here for concerts too. It's actually a pretty good concert venue. And obviously, people like to come for the Chicago Fire games. That's going to change in a few years. We know that. But I think about all the events you can have at Soldier Field. I'm like, okay, this works for that. But man, you think about the NFL stadiums that have been built since even the mid 2000s. I mean, think about US Bank Stadium in Minnesota, what they built in the Meadowlands out for the Giants and the Jets. Think about Jerry World. Think about what they built out. It's Englewood, right? Is that where the Chargers and Rams Stadium is? I think it's
No,
Englewood.
didn't they? I thought they moved it further out. Um, maybe
Well,
it
I,
is.
I know the Clippers are in Englewood, but either way, the one they built in LA, the one they built for the Raiders. And keep in mind, these ones I just listed were built within the past decade, even sooner, within the past, like the 2020s, these were completed. And you look at what those stadiums have, and you're like, sheesh, that's in a whole other galaxy. I mean, again, Soldier Field, I think, would have been suitable for modern day NFL if modern day was some decades ago. And like I said, I'm not saying the place is completely useless, but it's amazing what some of these NFL stadiums are now.
Right. Oh, totally agree.
especially in Chicago. And I think what gets me more than anything is the walk around Soldier Field is kind of a pleasant one. Like, I like walking through the campus of the museum. I like walking past Grant Park. Sometimes when I go to games, I'll park at the Hilton. It's kind of a nice little walk. It's scenic along the lake. That's all fine and good. But you consider where sports are now and what other stadiums have adapted to the kind of Wrigleyville type, whether it's what they did up with Lambeau Field or other places, whether it's football or not. And I'm thinking, sure, you got a tailgate parking lot and you have some nice scenic grass area, but you don't have the shops, the bars, the restaurants. You have the grassy areas, but it's not like, how Gallagher Way is really specialized for events. So it's like you have the fake turf, you have the lighting over it, you have the screens, you have the benches, you have the fountains, you have the stands where like bands can play. It's like you just don't have any of that stuff around it. And so much sports revenue today is generated by things like that. And the Bears just, they will benefit so much by having a quote neighborhood around their stadium.
The
And it's
problem is though, is I are they going to actually own it all like the Cubs? The
probably
Cub
not.
the Cubs made a massive investment and they are a cash cow. They own everything. And the Bears might own the land, but then they're going to lease it out. And somebody else, so they're going to just skim, pennies on the dollar when because they don't want to invest all of the money. That's the problem. And I guess they don't need to because that that team just makes money and it's self-sustainable and they're not, you know, like they're not greedy assholes. So they're just like, all right, we're fine being, you know, just regular rich.
I don't disagree that they wouldn't own all of it, but you'd think they'd own some things, right? Like they'd
But
open up some special things.
are they going to actually open it? Or are they going to lease the land to somebody that will open something like restaurants and hotels and bars? And, they won't like, the Cubs, all of those rooftops, except for maybe one, they own them all.
Yeah,
So if you go there, they get the money. A lot of those restaurants there, they own the restaurant or they own the building.
right.
They own the bars or they just like they own the hotels. Like it's just everything's a cash cow. They own all of that property.
Yeah, no, you're right. And I do think they will lease because weren't they talking about building a casino on that land?
I think so, but I don't think they're going to. Maybe a sports book, but I
Oh,
don't know if they're gonna.
they will probably open one, right?
I don't think they're actually gonna get a full casino. Maybe someday. Maybe they'll
Maybe,
leave.
yeah.
Maybe they'll leave land ready for that. Um, but I don't think at this point they're going to.
No, no, but I would be shocked if they don't have a sports book, right? I mean, there's a
Yeah,
sports book at Wrigley, there's a sports book at the United Center. They're popping up everywhere.
yeah, I think you have to.
I think so too. Yeah. But I think when it all comes down to it, the biggest thing about a new stadium for me is the fact that this hypothetical stadium that I'm very confident is going to happen, and we talked about this many times before. Don't you want to host the Final Four? Don't you want to host the Super Bowl in the Chicagoland area? Don't you want to see other bigger sporting events that you can't have at Soldier Field happen at this new stadium? I mean, the Final Four in Chicagoland, oh, you will get a nice draw there.
Oh, I mean, the Super Bowl in Chicago will be awesome.
Hmm. And if you have that neighborhood around it, well, you'll be able to utilize a lot of that. And if you build a bunch of hotels, people come in and stay. And I mean, think about the Cubs getting the All-Star game in 2027. All those businesses, how they're going to benefit from that. Imagine if you have the frickin' Super Bowl out there.
And I just searched. The Bears got approval to add a sports book, and it will be Bet Rivers.
Bet
Will be their
Rivers. Okay.
official sports book partner. So
All right. There you go.
that mixed use area will have a sports book.
There you go. The
Uh,
Bears Bet Rivers Casino.
yeah, so the Bears, due to NFL rules, cannot own the sports book, but they can partner with a licensed sports betting operator.
Mm-hmm. George, I'm sorry you can't name it that. Oh, come on.
Uh, you want to talk Cubs?
Sure.
Number one, F the Brewers. I swear. Like number one, they're really good and they're just on fire. But they're also lucky. Every time they go to face a good team, that good team goes into a funk. The Dodgers in a funk, and they played them, kick their ass. The Mets are in a funk. They kicked their ass. Like, why does it work out that way? Play a team, they're like, oh, they won 76 games in a row. They were playing the best baseball, and they lined up with their three best pitchers in a row facing the Cubs. And the Dodgers or the Brewers are like, oh, we played their 4, 5, and 6 pitchers.
They missed
And
Mackenzie Gore twice.
yeah, and then they play teams they're a good team too. They don't need the extra help. So now the Cubs are what, 5.5 games out of first, pending what happens tonight.
I'm almost starting to just stop paying attention to the division. I mean,
Yeah.
this run they've been on is beyond absurd.
What have they won, like 16 of their last 17 or something?
Yeah.
18 of their last 19, something ridiculous like that.
They've played
It's an
like
unreal run.
they've played like 118 pace win ball over the past 2+ months.
Yeah, it's unreal. And like they're not slowing down. And I honestly, I think at this point, the winning the division is out of the question. Is it
It's insane.
possible? Yes, but man, I think the Brewers would just really have to come crash landing for it to change.
Yeah. It's they were down 5-0 today. The Mets had leads in every single game. And in I think it was yesterday's game, Saturday's, like the Brewers either tied the game or took leads multiple times on a bouncing ball that skipped off the fielder's glove. It's just
It's just, yeah, it's unreal.
it's unreal and it's like yes, they are playing very well. They're also getting every break known to man. And at this point, I don't really know what to say anymore.
Yep. Yep. It's just it's crazy. But you know what? It is what it is. And the Cubs just need to win the other games, and they kind of shit the bed against Cincinnati. And they're actively shitting the bed against the Cardinals. Um, you know, Boyd has come back to reality. Uh, you know, Shota hasn't been elite. Cade Horton has looked really good. But Tucker and PCA are in bad slumps.
PCA is really slumping right now. Really, really slumping. And I know you mentioned Matt Boyd. I didn't even think he was that bad the other night. It's just you didn't hit again. You as a team did not hit. Kyle Tucker has what, one home run over the past month and a half?
Yeah, I mean, I heard them talk on the radio that it was that Coomer was on the radio on 670 The Score, and he was saying that somebody told him that Tucker is nursing some sort of lingering injury, and uh and he's not able to grip the bat like he likes to. He,
I not so yeah, I think he's got to be hurt.
and it's something where he normally has a really tight grip on the bat, like a stranglehold, and he's not able to grip it the way he likes, so he's not getting the power. Um, so that's something, and maybe it was Boog Shambi told him that somebody told him that it was word of mouth. Nothing official from the Cubs, nothing official from Kyle Tucker, but he hasn't like he's just the power is zapped, and PCA is in a just a way
Yeah, I think it's in his head.
like uh, maybe they need to send him down to rookie ball
Yeah,
like at
right.
Colston Montgomery,
Yeah, right.
like instructional league. Uh, but yeah, PCA has just oof, it has been bad.
And he's one that will not hide his frustration.
No, not even a little bit. Um, yeah. But you've Tucker and PCA not playing well, and the offense is just sunk with them.
Yeah. And Nico's hitting, Shaw's hitting, Hap's hitting okay. Dansby's had a good series at the plate, but when your big guys aren't swinging it, it's really difficult. One thing that I am looking forward to potentially is sounds like Miguel Amaya's on his way back.
Yeah. Um, isn't Tyone on his way back too?
Should be.
I think yeah, I think we're gonna get healthy soon. Um, but I just it's just been a tough stretch. And I think this whole team could use like a week off.
I know, because sometimes you look at them and they just look burned out. And, it's a long season. It's tough. And when you don't have really good depth throughout much of the season, and those guys had to expel all that energy early, yeah, it's hard to maintain that.
Oh, absolutely.
Especially consider the fact that Tucker and PCA both went to Atlanta for the All-Star game and played in the All-Star game.
I swear the All-Star game is like a curse for Chicago teams. Um, guys just don't look the same.
It's like they
Uh,
they could have used the rest.
yeah, just take the rest. Get the honor, take the rest. Don't go there and get your stupid at bat. Definitely do not do the home run derby.
Yeah, right.
Um, but it's uh, this team, they're not playing terrible. They're just not playing very good. And
They're playing mediocre.
they're playing mediocre. And, I think they've got a big enough cushion where, they'll make the postseason, but it's,
Be nice to have the home field advantage in that first wild card round.
yeah, I just, uh, it's just not been very good. Let's see. What does Fangraphs have now as the postseason probabilities here? Um, so last time we talked about it was like a month ago, and I believe it was like roughly 50-50 of division. I think it was like 53-47 Cubs Brewers. Now it is Brewers 77.9, Cubs 22.1.
Yeah.
Postseason odds 99.9 Brewers, 97.8 Cubs. Reds 12.1% to make the playoffs, 0% to win the division. Um, let's see. Um, yeah, I mean, really, the D-backs are down to 1% to make the playoffs. Giants 8%. Dodgers 99.8, Padres 95.2, Brewers 99.9, Cubs 97.8, Pirates 0, Cardinals 7.7, Reds 12%, Marlins less than 1%, Mets 77.8. So I mean, I
They've been
think for
scuffling, man.
they have been. Um, but I mean, we kind of have the National League set. That last spot's the last one open.
Right.
Um, so we shall see. Um, American League, you got some players fighting for a spot there with the Red Sox and the Guardians and the Rangers. Um, and they have 78% the Blue Jays winning the AL East.
And we get to play them next, and they're on fire.
They are on fire. Um, I, I just think it would be funny. What if the Yankees don't make the playoffs?
Hey, they're out of the playoffs right now. If it ended today,
They have them at 80% to make the playoffs, but you're right, standings wise, um, that they would not be in the playoffs, and I would find that very funny.
that would be wild. I mean,
Especially
both.
after the way they started. Remember the beginning of the season with them with the torpedo bats,
Yeah.
and everyone's like, "Oh, this is going to be the best team ever," and the Yankees are back, and then reality came crashing down on them.
Well, I mean, like both New York teams right now
You
are
love to
just
see New York teams scuffling.
they're both. Is something in the water out there?
I don't know. I don't. Oh, actually, the if the playoffs started today, the Yankees would be in.
Oh, because the Guardians lost today.
Yeah. So they're a half game
They were
in.
briefly in because
So
I think one game ended before the other.
so we shall see. But this tight race there. Tight race. Yeah, but the Cubs just, man, scuffling. They got to pull this game out tonight.
Yeah.
Just keep, don't look at the Brewers. Just keep playing games. Um, and the Brewers are going to do what the Brewers are going to do. And if they keep winning, you can't catch them, but you got to keep winning games to win that wild card.
Hmm.
Um, so that's really what they got to do here. And I don't like that every game for this stupid series has been on a different channel.
I know, right? Because it was what? Marquee Friday, Fox Saturday, and tonight it's ESPN.
Yeah. Ugh. Um, should we talk a little White Sox?
Sure.
That team is not that good, but man, it's nice to see some of the young players. Like Colston Montgomery looks really good.
Hmm. Yeah, the Power Stroke looks nice.
Yeah, I mean, he's got that OPS up over 850 right now. Um, I'm still shocked that Mike Talkman did get traded.
I am too. I really thought that a team would have been willing to give him something to have as a bench bat, but again, maybe they like his leadership in the clubhouse to help grow
Um, Benattendi's been struggling.
him. Yeah.
Luis Robert has been playing a lot better.
Yeah, noticeably better since the All-Star break.
I mean, it's funny with how good he's been playing since All-Star break. That slash line is still 222, 303, 360, and 664 OPS.
Well, it's amazing. If you look at that overall slash line and you look at how he's hit like the past few weeks, it really does put in perspective of how badly he was struggling beforehand. I don't know if he was hurt. I don't know if it's a mental thing, but I mean, yeah, it was rough for a while.
Oh, absolutely. It's a tough sled for him, but is he still on that hitting streak or did it get broken?
I'm not
He was
sure.
on, he was on a big hitting streak.
Yeah.
Um, uh, um, yeah, I'm trying to see. It was, yeah, I mean, as of the other day, he had hit in like 17 of his last 18 games or something. Was on an 8-game streak, but he's been hitting so much better. But other than that, man, this team, Teal's cooled down a little bit. He's playing nice baseball, but um, not clobbering it. Talkman's still hitting well, but Montgomery's been the dude. Which is good. You'd rather have it be the him than Talkman,
Right.
because one's a 35-year-old guy and one is, you know, 20 something. So yeah, Montgomery's looking good. Um, yeah, that's but have you read about Hagen Smith?
Not recently.
So the guy's got really good stuff, but man, just like I I don't know if he's gonna be a dude. Um, I'm worried about that. I know they've got a lot of uh you know of good young players, Noah Schultz and Braden Montgomery, and you've got some good players. Um, you know, like, but I'm a little worried about his walks. Like the dude is up around like 7.5 walks per nine.
Yeah,
Um,
that's gonna need to come down a
this
bit.
the strikeouts, great. He's in Double A and he's got over 13 strikeouts per game. That's good.
That is good.
Uh, and he's only 21, but man, those that he's got to get the control uh under control, the control under control. Um, because otherwise he's never going to be a dude. The stuff is nasty. But
Commanding nasty stuff is sometimes the hardest thing for a pitcher.
he has had a tick down in his velocity, and um, they've had to rework some of his mechanics mid-season because of soreness and nagging injuries. Um, I'm a little concerned about him. I don't know if I'm calling panic button concerned, but between the control and the tick down in the velocity and the arm soreness and the having to change his mechanics, I'm a little concerned.
No, I get it.
Um, the stuff is nasty though. I just you hope for the White Sox sake that the guy turns out to be really good, but um, because the strikeouts are insane. He's like 21 years old and he's striking out 13 plus dudes in a 9 inning game. That's nice. That's a nice average.
Yeah, for sure.
Um, but I do like the overall pace that the White Sox are doing. You're building that foundation. You're not patchworking things. I think you're building a foundation. Again, it just goes down to, is Jerry going to open up pocketbooks to surround the young pieces with veterans to help them get out of this 100 loss cycle that they're in? Because they're going to win more games than they did last year. It's already
They've already
mathematically,
done,
yeah.
yes, yes.
But they're still, what are they on pace for right now? Ba, ba, ba. MLB standings. White Sox. Uh, MLB here. The White Sox are 364 win percentage. So they're still on pace to lose 100 games.
Well, yeah, and I mean we expected that.
So even playing much better since the All-Star break, they're still on pace to lose 103, which is significantly better than what was 119 last year, whatever it was.
121.
121.
Mm-hmm.
Significant I mean, almost a 20 game improvement
Yeah.
on this pace. But you've gotta make a significant improvement next year. Like you just have to. You can't lose 100+ games that many seasons in a row.
No, no, you can't.
I'm not saying that the White Sox need to go out and be the biggest offseason spenders like the Phillies or the Rangers or the Yankees or the Dodgers. They've got to spend some money though to bolster this team. Is you've gotta I think win at least 75 games next year.
Ideally.
I like I think that's fair. I think saying you've got to win 75 games is fair. Correct?
Yeah,
Like
yeah, I think that is fair.
you're definitely not in a punt for the postseason, but you're not a laughing stock either. It's a significant improvement, and it would be
Right.
significant improvements back to back years. So you'd go, 18 win improvement, and then another, you know, 8 win improvement. Those are significant steps.
There's
That's,
significant steps,
and I
but
don't,
they're reasonable asks.
yeah, and I don't know if you have to do that much. I think, you need another power bat in the lineup, and you need a starting pitcher, veteran starting pitcher. You can pay for those. You can pay for those. You're not asking them to go out and pay Kyle Tucker prices, but you can get a power bat in your lineup. Somebody to help protect Colston Montgomery in your lineup. Somebody to help your younger bats, um, you know, with professionalism, and somebody that when they go through slumps can help buoy things.
Right.
So it just I don't know if they'll do it. I think you would have to put in probably 30, 40 plus million in your payroll, which they definitely have the room to do because their payroll right now is nothing. Like a $50 million payroll. Like you've got plenty of room to do that and still be profitable.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, their payroll's barely anything right now.
Yeah. Uh,
I mean, remember last year when they were on pace to be the worst team ever, and you heard Chris Getz talking about how they were looking to cut payroll in the upcoming offseason?
yeah. Um, their payroll right now is 78 million, but next year their payroll is um according to Spot Track, it is, come on, it won't load. But the preview's making it look like it's about 47 million.
Which is nothing.
Yeah. Um yeah, so they have a low payroll. I mean, it's not Orioles low. Like Orioles have like nobody on that roster that's making money. They got like two guys.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, it's all kids and guys that grown.
Um, yeah, for 2026, Miami's at 22, Baltimore's at 23, Pittsburgh's at 31, White Sox are at 47.
So they're with a lot of the usual suspects.
Yeah. Then the A's are just so the White Sox they're not the super low ones, but they're right there. It's like the White Sox, the A's, Washington, Minnesota are there. Then the next group is Detroit, which is crazy. They're good in there. But I guess Skubal is a free agent. That's going to bump that up significantly.
Oh, yeah, big
Uh,
time.
Cincinnati 57, Cleveland 68, St. Louis 69, Tampa Bay 71. Then you start inching up. Seattle 100, Arizona 112, Milwaukee 122. Then you get up to Cubs 160, Philadelphia 186, Atlanta 188, Toronto 193, San Diego 194, Boston 198, New York 202, Dodgers 240, Mets 252. So right now, for next year, if nothing changes, the Mets will have a $200 million more than the White Sox in payroll.
Well, quite the opposite owners right there.
Yeah.
Steve Cohen and Jerry.
Yeah. But the $47 million payroll, you can afford to spend and still be, you spend 30, 40, 50 million, and you're still in the bottom half of spending in the league.
Yeah.
It takes money to be good. You know, you look at who's making the playoffs and where they rank. What did I say? The MLB postseason odds. All right, so let's play a little game here. All right, so based on if the best probabilities to make the postseason here, it's Blue Jays, Tigers, Mariners, Yankees, Red Sox, and Astros. And then in the National League, it's Phillies, Brewers, Dodgers, Padres, Cubs, Mets. Okay. Where do these teams rank in salary? Let's do 2025. So let's see. Dodgers, 1. They're in the playoffs. Mets, 2. Playoffs. Yankees, 3. Playoffs. Phillies, 4. Playoffs. Toronto, 5. Playoffs. Houston, 6. Playoffs. Texans, 7, just out of the playoffs. 8, San Diego, playoffs. Atlanta, 9, not in the playoffs. Cubs, 10, playoffs. Let's see. Red Sox, 12. Mariners, 15. Detroit, 16. So the Brewers are the only team that are making the postseason that aren't in the top half of spending. And 8 of the top 10 spending teams are making the postseason.
Yeah.
Now let's go bottom here. Any of the bottom 10 teams making the postseason? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1. The Brewers. So 8 of the top 10 highest spending teams are making it. 1 of the bottom 10. But don't worry, they'll lose before they make the World Series.
If you say so.
I have to say so. Otherwise, what am I going to do? Just let it burn in me that they got a really good shot of winning the World Series and let that eat away with me for the next several months? No, I have to just convince myself that they won't. And that way I'm not in pain for the next couple months. It's like, well, they're winning now, but look at that winning, that probability. They're only 6% chance of winning the World Series. That's nothing. It's lower than the Mariners. That's how I got to feel. That's how I got to do it. Is there anything else you wanted to talk about?
Nope, I've said my piece.
All right. Well, I think that's going to do it for this episode of Bill Swerski Sports Talk Chicago. I want to thank everybody so much for listening. Please hit subscribe however you listen to podcasts, whether it's iTunes, Stitcher, YouTube, Google Play, Spotify, etc. Share this podcast with your friends. Have it grow the show. Follow us on social media at Swerski Sports, Facebook.com/Swerski Sports, SwerskiSports.com, or Swerski_sports_podcast on Instagram, or ShyFanPat2 for Alex on Twitter/X, or AlexanderJPatCreative.com for all the cool stuff that Alex does. And again, thank you so much for listening. And until next time, bear down.
Cubs win! What a lucky break! The good Lord wants the Cubs to win!
We thank Ditka and God for all they have provided.
Cubs win! Cubs win! Cubs win!
Oh, I don't want her. You can have her. She's a Packer fan. She can't fit in my van.
And she looks like number New Yorkers. Smoking crack is not legal on planes.
Bears 31 to -7.
The Bears.
Oh, when the Bears go bearing down.